Hey, what is going on guys, it is SuperbTube here and welcome back to another video. In today's video guys, we're going to be discussing 5 hidden secrets that you may not know in Fallout 4. These secrets are so secretive, not even I knew them before we began to do this video. So hopefully you do enjoy this video. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are aiming for 10,000 subscribers as fast as possible, so please do join the SuperbTube gang. We are very cool indeed. Anywho, let's get straight into the video. The 5th secret on the list that we are going to be discussing is secret dialogue for killing people's family. Within the quest Diamond City Blues, we are given many opportunities to be villainous scum by murdering people and then discuss with their living relatives that we killed their kin, to which most are not too happy.
I'm in town looking for Henry Cook. Do you know where I might find him?
He's dead.
Is that so?
I killed him.
You son of a bitch! Why should I let you live?
What if I don't tell you?
From this.
Now I, and most likely many of you, believe this was an isolated ability and only available in this quest, where special dialogue was available after killing certain individuals. As if you do choose to walk the path of a serial killer in Fallout 4, people certainly die, yet there are no real specific tailored reactions from the NPCs. However, within Vault 81, the flourishing isolated society in the middle of the Commonwealth, we find many residents within, 2 of which being Mark and Maria Somerset. This elderly couple run the cafeteria in the vault, and after being together for so long, they are still fond of one another and have humorous conversations with one another. If you talk with Maria, you can ask her if she runs the cafeteria by herself, to which she responds no, and that her husband Mark helps out significantly with feeding the residents of the vault. However, if you stealthily assassinate Mark Somerset and get away with it without any of the vault residents turning hostile, if you ask Maria the same question, does she work here alone, she has unique dialogue where she talks about how her husband recently passed away.
Do you run this place by yourself?
Sadly, yes. My husband, Mark, he used to help me, but he's no longer with us.
This is one of the only instances we have found in Fallout 4 where there is unique dialogue if you assassinate someone close to someone else. Usually they disregard what has happened and don't really acknowledge the changes in circumstances, yet here Bethesda placed this extra hidden dialogue in the game, which is already double secretive, as already you wouldn't expect it, but in Vault 81 it is very unlikely in a playthrough that you would kill the residents, let alone Mark and not Maria, so it's most likely not many players have witnessed this dialogue at all. The 4th secret we will be discussing is Institute Spies. Throughout the game of Fallout 4, we are constantly reminded and aware of the presence of the Institute in the shadows. Since attempting to escape the clutches of the Institute aim to integrate into Wasteland society, abandoning their designated Institute names and adopting new personas. The Synths who successfully reach the Wasteland and are no longer bound to the villainous Institute are free to make their own choices and finally live on their own terms. However, there are those in the Wasteland who are selfish enough to destroy what some Synths have sought so hard for, their freedom. Within the Institute, we the player character can don the detective hat and rummage around the terminals found within to find some rather hidden and secretive information. In one terminal within the Synth Retention Bureau section of the Institute, we find a list of Institute informants who will disclose any information pertaining to escaped Synths or beneficial to Institute operations for CAPS, and some of the names on this list are quite shocking. At the top of the list we find Cricket, the caravan merchant who sells the spray and pray legendary submachine gun, followed by Tommy Lone Gun, the ghoul operating the combat zone we meet when we get Kate as a companion, Trash Can Carla, one of the first travelling merchants we meet on our way to Diamond City for the first time, and one who regularly comes into our sanctuary settlement, Doc Weathers, the travelling caravan doctor, Lucas Miller, also a caravan trader, AJ the chem dealer and good neighbour who we meet in the Silver Shroud quest, Morawski in the Hotel Rexford, and Henry Cook, the owner of the Colonial Tap House in Diamond City. This list of names is terrifying, as we have talked to and may even like some of these people on this list, and little did we know they were informants for the Institute, forcing escaped Synths who finally achieved their freedom back into the bonds of slavery.
And so the 3rd secret that we will have is Deacon stalking you throughout the early game of Fallout 4. When you leave the vault in Fallout 4 for the first time, we set out on an adventure into the Commonwealth where we garner a reputation as a bit of a local legend as we battle our way into many sticky situations, and we always seem to come out on top. We acquire many amazing items, kill terrifying foes, and become well known in many settlements for our activities. Well, upon reaching the railroad for the first time, after following the Freedom Trail, we are saved from the judging eyes and minigun of Desdemona and Glory by a starstruck Deacon who tells Desdemona of our actions throughout the Commonwealth, listing off many of our accomplished feats up to that point. Players may wonder how Deacon came to harbour all of this information, but they probably chalk his seeming omniscience to the fact that the railroad probably has eyes and ears everywhere, with assistance as well as Bethesda being a bit lazy and just making Deacon's NPC have all this information magically. However, this is actually not the case. If we are a perceptive individual, when we go to new areas of the Commonwealth like Diamond City and Good Neighbour, if we look closely we may see the same face seemingly following us. When we first enter Diamond City, you will see a bald Diamond City security guard brandishing sunglasses and some slight stubble with little dialogue leaning against a wall. And again, when you enter Good Neighbour, we find the same man hanging around the entrance and also sometimes in the memory den in one of the memory pods. He also appears again at Bunker Hill masquerading as a caravan worker leaning against one of the gates. Later on you will realise, based on his appearance, that this man of course is our lovable friend and companion Deacon, and he appears in all these places before we ever meet him or the railroad. evidently proving as to how he acquired all this information about us. He's been stalking our every move from the very beginning. I say from the very beginning because if you go back to Vault 111, you can find a small outpost with a rail sign etched onto the wood, proving that Deacon was there as we emerged from the vault itself, which is pretty wild indeed. So it goes to show Bethesda wasn't being lazy and just magically granting Deacon this information about you. He has learnt himself through watching you from the shadows.
The second secret that we will be discussing is secret synths in the Wasteland. In Fallout 4, every Wastelander and their Brahmin reminds us about the Institute and the potential for synths to murder and replace you. Most of this is paranoia, however there are more certainly instances where we bear witness to synths hiding in the Commonwealth. If we work with the Railroad, we learn of their protocol of rescuing synths and then allowing Dr. Amari in the Memory Den to infiltrate their mind and replace their memories with new ones, giving them a false backstory to better protect them from the Institute. These false memories mean that they forget they're a synth entirely, and it means that many people we walk past every day in the Commonwealth could be synths in disguise, with both us and them being oblivious to their true identity. One glaring example of this is Paladin Dance. In the quest Blind Betrayal, we learn our friendly Brotherhood synth despiser is actually a secret synth, with him being completely unaware of the fact until the Brotherhood prove it with DNA. However, there are secret synths in the game that are never revealed, but digging around in the game's files reveals to us the hidden synths that walk among us, sometimes very, very close to us. One synth we may have interacted with is Magnolia, the singer in the third rail in Good Neighbor. There is never an indication that she's not a true human being, however the game files explicitly state Magnolia is a synth, and if we disable essential NPCs, on her body she drops a synth component as every other Generation 3 synth would. A true surprise indeed. Nevertheless, the shock you may feel when you learn someone even closer to you is a synth is immeasurable. When I first learnt of this, I genuinely didn't believe it. However, it is true that Sturgis, our favourite Minuteman mechanic, has been a secret synth this entire time. The game files and his body reveal the truth. He is a synth harbouring a synth component and has been masquerading, unknowingly of course, as a human being this entire time. These discoveries are harmless and don't change the game in any way, but they are fun hidden factoids that make you look closer at certain things and realise everyone in the Wasteland has secrets.
And now, coming in at the number 1 spot, we have the mysterious Swan, also known as Edgar Swan. Now, Swan is a unique, named super mutant behemoth that most Fallout players will have encountered in their playthrough of the game. You can find Swan in the Boston Commons in a location named after him, Swan's Pond. However, what you may not know is that you can find notes that detail Swan's excruciating transformation into the monster he is today. You can find several notes around his pond with 4 titled Experimental Log J32, Days 1, 6, 14 and 21, along with another note called Swan's Note that just reads, "You are Swan." That's very insightful, thank you for that, Swan. Now, reading these notes, you will see that Swan was originally a man named Edgar Swan, and he is a low-level member of the Institute, doing janitorial work for them throughout the building. He was placed into a 1-month isolation by the Institute for snagging some cigarettes, and he was given nothing but a steady supply of food and water, on the condition that he writes in the journal they give him every day. That's a pretty sweet deal if you ask me. Now, things seem fine for Swan on day 1. Swan was writing about his punishment and says that it beats scrubbing floors all day, but little did he know that he was exposed to the deadly FEV virus. By day 6 he was cranky, weak and could barely write, complaining constantly about his pain. However, a few days later, on day 14, he said he felt much stronger, having tripled in muscle mass, and his intellectual capacity was greatly increased. And all of this with none of the downsides. But what could have went wrong? Well, when you read his final note on day 21, Swan says he's began suffering from seizures, writing that his mental capacity peaked 2 days ago, and now he's declining rapidly. His final words written in the notes simply ask, "Will they reject me like the others?" This is a fairly tragic insight into the character of Swan that not many players may know about, as once you've killed him and grabbed his unique legendary weapon on his body, the Furious Power Fist, you'll be on your way, trotting along on your adventures. Many players are unlikely to have picked up these notes, and by doing so, they miss out on learning about one of the Institute's strangest creations, the Behemoth.
So I hope you did enjoy this video where we covered 5 amazing hidden secrets in Fallout 4 that you may not have known about. If you did, please make sure to leave it a like and subscribe to the channel. Again, we are going for 10,000 subscribers as fast as possible, so if you want to join the channel and be here for more cool secret content and other Fallout content and other games that are coming out, then make sure to subscribe. Anywho, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one in a bit.